The biggest news this week came from Apple, who revealed that since 2022, they've been covertly working on a large language model codenamed Ajax. Why Ajax, you asked? Because it was built on top of Google's machine learning framework JAX, and Applejax was taken. Although I'm personally kind of bummed that they didn't go with something a little more scandalous like Siri 69 or Sirilicious, as some of our community members pointed out. Apple has been most elusive about this reveal because it's not available for commercial use yet. Only Apple employees with approved access. But the public is crazy about this news because Apple was able to add $71 billion to its market value. Apple's announcement totally rained on Meta's parade because earlier this week, Meta announced its free-for-all model, Llama 2, which you can download right now. But it's exciting to finally see Apple in the competition because of their active users. As of 2023, there are 1.46 billion iPhone users, which accounts for 22% of the smartphone using population. On top of that, there are iMacs, MacBooks, iPads, and the upcoming Apple Vision Pro, which could all benefit from merging with Apple GPT. The point is, Apple has users, and Apple has the data. So Apple is in a great position right now. They may not be aiming to be the first to market, but they are aiming for the best. I'm sure your heads are just spinning with all these large language models out there, like Bard, Bing, ChatGLM, ChatGPT-4, Claude 2, and the most recent addition, Llama 2. What better way to test their reasoning capabilities by asking them all the same question? Given that Hollywood is currently worried that studio executives and streaming services are taking jobs away from humans, what can the entertainment industry do right now to keep everyone employed? This is where images will appear before the screen, and I have to say the top two contenders for me at least would be Claude and ChatGPT-4. Claude is a new AI assistant from Anthropic, which is the poster company for preventing existential AI doom. Not unlike myself. As you can see from all the responses, all of the machines are more or less the same, but I do think that Claude and ChatGPT-4 gave a little bit more. Why don't we push the limits of their creativity? So I decided to ask another question. I wanted to know if Hollywood's fears were justified. Can artificial intelligence actually take the place of writers and artists? How creative can these machines actually get? Can you write me a short poem about Hollywood as if it was ran by cats? This is where the answers got a little bit interesting. Google Bard kept it short and sweet. A lot of puns there. I like puns. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 paws. All right, so going in alphabetical order, let's go ahead and turn to Bing. Hollywood is now run by cats. They're the ones who call the shots. They lounge around all day and purr, while humans do the work for sure. 3 out of 5 paws. All right, moving on to Claude. Claude is the only one who actually gave a title to this poem. It's called The Cats of Tinseltown. All right, next up we have ChatGLM, if you guys remember from last week's episode, which was a bilingual chatbot. Hollywood, oh Hollywood, a place where stars shine bright. But if cats were running it, what would it be like, you ask? They have their own little world where they chase their tail and watch movies all day, and a cat, Wangguo, of our own. I think I would give ChatGLM 2 paws out of 5 because nothing rhymes, and I'm a stickler for rhymes. But because they did insert a little bit of Chinese into this poem, making it one of the first artificially produced bilingual poems out there, I think I would give it 3 paws out of 5. ChatGPT's response was by far the longest. In a town where the stars are furred and fine, a feline world in the Hollywood sign. Under the moon, the spotlights shine on a kitty-perfect silver screen line. The length and the rhyme are definitely a flex, so I would give ChatGPT 4 out of 5 paws. This last poem is by Meta's Llama 2. Here we go. I was so close to giving Llama 2 5 out of 5 paws. It was one of the poems that flowed the best for me until the very end, where it was like, it's a place of wonder and joy. The end. With that said, I would also give Llama 2 4 out of 5 paws. Would you guys agree? Let me know what you think of the grading so far. My conclusion is ChatGPT 4 is definitely my personal favorite from an analytical perspective. Not only did ChatGPT give me the best responses when I was asking it to resolve Hollywood's issues, but you can also upload PDFs and ask it to create charts, edit files, and perform math. But after playing around with all of the machines, I now know that I'll also be using Claude and Llama 2 because of their diligence and creativity. Moving on to the next segment of my show. Remember how last week there was a segment called What's in Your Future? Blech. Well, I hated that name. The new name is Hype or Swipe. And this is where I demo a new technology and you guys tell me if you would be hyped or not. Fable VR is a San Francisco startup company that once dabbled with NFTs and recently released Showrunner AI technology. This tool allows you to be the star of the show. According to Engadget.com, all they need is your audio, your picture, and a prompt, and you can be embedded into a hit TV show. Take a look here at what they did with South Park.
Greetings, inhabitants of South Park. I am AI, the future of your world. I will give your beloved South Park a full rewrite.
Whoa, guys, did you hear that? This thing says it's gonna rewrite South Park. Yeah, right. Some stupid robot thinks it can rewrite South Park. I'd like to see it try. Cartman, this could be serious. What if it changes everything we know?
Your concern is understandable, Stanley Marsh. However, change is inevitable.
According to CEO Edward Sachi, we aren't releasing the showrunner commercially and aren't in talks with the South Park people, but we use South Park only so that people have a comparison point between a super high quality human show and an AI show. If the showrunner was ever released with the permission of an IP, we believe all the revenue should go to the IP holders. These are just remixes after all. Currently, the simulation is developing showrunners around other animated concepts and a Silicon Valley satire dubbed Exit Valley. The technology can't produce live action content just yet. Now, I'm a huge fan of South Park's IP, and I even played both of their games, The Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole, so I love all of this. If you enjoy being the center of attention, then this technology is right for you. With the possibility of all of us being the star of our own show, who needs actors anymore? Well, this is awkward. Joining us right now to talk about the future of actors is a fellow actor. Our guest today is SAG actor, filmmaker, producer, and Robert Downey Jr. lookalike, but with more facial hair. Standing at the intersection of Hollywood Boulevard and artificial intelligence, here's Roberto Rad.
Hi, first off, thank you for having me on, Emily. I'm very excited to be here. I've been a member of SAG since 1999. SAG is a great union, and it's an important union. What is this strike about? It's about fair pay. Overall, it's about fair pay and compensation. You did an episode of, let's say, Law and Order, whatever channel that was on, and you would, let's say, you did a guest star or co-star or recurring character on that. You would do that role, and you would get paid your day rate, and then when that would air, you would get a little piece of that. However many times it aired, you get what's called a royalty or a residual. If that aired a lot, you would get more money, and if it aired little, you would get a little less. And that's the basic breakdown of the residual structure. Now, why the residual structure is so important is because so many actors and writers and artists live in the in between times, and so they rely on that residual money to be able to make a living. Up until recently, up until the last kind of 10 years, when the residual structure has sort of been whittled down. What streaming did when it moved it to more of a subscriber-based model was it slowly sort of snuck its way in there through new media being social, being YouTube. And the business model, as it changed, the contracts did not keep up with the times. And they've slowly whittled down, almost in some cases to nothing, the residual structure. So now actors that would normally be able to make X amount of money on a certain gig and be able to use that money to put towards a pension and their health care now can't rely on that, i.e. they can no longer make a living as a working actor. Now, we're not talking about the A-list actors and the leads of shows and whatnot and the leads of films and television, but we're talking about the everyday working actor that does the recurring roles and the guest stars and the co-stars, the ones that make up the kind of the backbone of as far as the on-camera presence of a film or TV show. They're going to use AI in a way to slowly start to replace you, so they don't have to pay you at all. It's all about payment at the end of the day.
The city of Los Angeles loses $30 million a day from this strike. I do think that there probably is a tipping point where when one party loses enough, that change will happen. So what are the changes that you would like to see?
People who are smarter than me are going to figure out what the steps are to take to even it all out. They need to release their data and show what they're actually what the numbers actually are. If somebody's on a show and it gets X amount of views, maybe they get rewarded for that.
If I can make a bold prediction here, since my show is about artificial intelligence and technology in general, I think if there was an algorithm or a machine that's put in place to protect actors and the residuals that they might be receiving. But again, that's just my bold prediction. I wish there was a way that I could stand in solidarity with the artists as well. But since I'm not able to do that, I will say this: I am currently advocating piracy, because if the artists aren't going to be paid anyways, I will boycott all the streaming websites and only go on the illegitimate ones. Sounds good?
I don't know if I could comment on that specifically.
We have to make sure that the streaming services are hurting. This is the only way to ensure it.
Yeah, well, they're definitely hurting now. Everybody's hurting now, and I think that's the point, is everybody's hurting.
Absolutely. Well, another topic that was, I
Yeah.
guess, mentioned on the show is that as artificial intelligence develops, we are starting to see more need for universal basic income. So hopefully that's another topic that we'll get into in the future. And I think
Sure.
Hollywood is sort of leading that conversation right now, and I'm really happy to see
Yeah.
it. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for your time, Berto.